Welcome back to Friday Night Fever. And tonight, Sammy, it's round one of the playoffs.
It absolutely is. Jason Williams, Sammy Roebuck here, and we're just thrilled for another night of fever, but not just your regular night of fever. It's playoff time.
Playoff time.
Playoff time.
You know, and that means you win or you go home.
This is what we all wait for. It's what the players wait for. This is when it counts, really counts.
And this is what you've been fighting for. Let's get to those highlights, and let's start with our game of the week, the Smithville Seminoles taking on the Faulkner Eagles.
The Friday Night Fever Game of the Week is sponsored by Game Day Haircuts.
Faulkner coming into this matchup as the 1 seed, Smithville being the 4 seed. Let's see what's going to happen here. Smithville going to kick it off tonight, and we're going to have a little pooch kick, and Faulkner, they're not going to be able to come up with the football. Smithville recovers it, and they will take over. Already in the red zone, Connor Dabbs going to take the carry, and he will go into the end zone for the first score of the game, still standing on his feet. PAT was no good, 6-0 Smithville. Now Faulkner trying to get it going. Miles Murphy on the reception, but he's going to lose the football, and the Seminoles are going to come up with it. Colin Bear on the recovery. Smithville football again. On the preceding drive, Chandler Brunetti's going to take a shot. Parker Dean comes down with the ball, makes the defender miss, and he will find the end zone. And we're going to have an upset to start the night. Smithville 42, Faulkner 27.
Over in Myrtle, the Hawks host the West Lown Panthers for round one. There's a train going by, and Myrtle's only have 1 win, and West Lowndes only has 3. Here comes Panther quarterback Gary Brewer, and he hands off. And that, Gary Brewer takes the handoff, and that is 6 points, 2-point conversion, no good. Tied at 6. Panthers quarterback Jonovan Edwards, he passes number 15, and Aquarius Outlaw, and he's almost in the end zone. Doesn't break the plane, but that is what we call great field position. Gets a fresh set of downs on that one, and that is what we like to see. Don't worry, here comes the quarterback himself. Edwards again, he calls his own number, gets just past the pylon, touchdown, 12-6, and West Lowndes, they go on to win this just barely, 19 to Myrtle's 13.
And guys, I had 2 1v4 games. We had Caledonia on the road taking on Ripley tonight. And when I got there, it was 14-0 Caledonia, and we just had a lot of defense. Right here, Robert Coombs for the Tigers getting the stop. And on the other side of that, the Cavaliers getting plenty of stops right there. Number 7, Micah O'Daniel leading the Cavaliers. Like I said, guys, this game was just nothing but defense for 5 minutes while I was there. And it was 14-0 at the half. Ripley would add 10 in the second half, but that would be it. And the Ripley Tigers would lose this one 14-10 at home.
That's a defensive score if I've ever seen one. 4A playoffs in Houston, part 2. Both these teams played each other in the regular season, but right now this is what it counts. Win or go home. Playoff time, baby. Shannon, quarterback Trace Bergen, gets out of trouble, and he finds Aquarius Clifton for a touchdown. Extra point good. Shannon up 7 to Houston 0. End of the first quarter. Of course, the Red Raiders happy about that one. Houston quarterback Steele Brooks, he's calling his own number, but that's no gain met by Connor. And Brooks, here he comes again. This time he hands off to Washington for a 5-yard gain. Now this gets the team hype, gets the band hype. They're playing big for that one. But this game goes on to be Houston taking the win. Houston 34, Shannon 13.
Let's take a look at some of those full screens. Louisville, they just been dominant all
Big
year.
Louis.
Picking
Love
up a win, 31-7. North Panola picking up a win over Nettleton, 45-21, and Newton County beating North Pontotoc 29-7.
And then Winona wins big, 62 to Mantachie 7, taking down the Mustangs. East Webster 36 to Rosa Forts 28. Noxubee County 35, South Pike 6. Those are our winners, but not just our winners. They get to move on to the next round.
You get to keep playing football. You get to keep playing football. That's what you're playing. That's what you've been fighting for all year.
Absolutely. You've been fighting for the playoff spot, but now you're fighting for state.
Yeah, you're fighting to get to the Vaught this year. As the state championships are going to be at Ole Miss this year. From November 30th through December 2nd, we're going to have 3 straight days of championship
Absolutely.
football. But we got to get there first. We got to find out who's all going to be there.
Absolutely, and what a treat for these high school players, giving them that college taste, playing at the home of the Rebs. That'll be a big state championship, but you're right. We have to find out who is going to go there first. We saw a lot of 1 and 4 matchups, like you said, and of course you want the 1 seed, or you don't want, but you think that that's going to be an easy matchup. But those upsets.
Yeah, 2 upsets. I was at Faulkner today. They're the 1 seed. Came in 8-2. We got upset by 2-8 Smithville.
You know what doesn't upset though? The band.
Never does.
The band of the week.
The Friday Night Fever Band of the Week is sponsored by Northeast Mississippi Community.
Go Aggies! Let's go! Let's go Aggies! Let's go Aggies!
The Friday Night Fever Cheer Squad of the Week is sponsored by Stone's Jewelry.
Thank you to the Faulkner Band and Cheer Squad of the Week. And if you heard it in the background just a little bit there, the speakers are going. We were feeling a little happy about the playoffs.
You know, that's what I was wondering. The cheerleaders, of course, we talk about the players being excited for state, but are the cheerleaders as excited to cheer at state, to cheer at the Vaught?
Yeah,
That's a big
hope so.
stage.
Yeah, you know, it's packed. It's been packed all year. I've been to like 4 home Ole Miss games. They've been packed.
High school state, that's a whole nother ball game, if you will. So that'll be exciting.
But let's get to the rest of these ball games that we had tonight.
Playoff decisions.
Kosciuszko on the road, taking on the Amory Panthers in a big 4A showdown out in Tupelo on the blue turf tonight. Right here, Emmanuel Randall gonna get the carry, and he's gonna break free right here. Emmanuel Randall is actually a 1,000-yard rusher this year, but he went out. Oh no, he found the end zone right there. 7-0. Amory Band loving it. Kosciuszko taking it down the field. They're gonna kick a field goal. Make the score 7-3. Amory cutting into that lead some. Quarterback Caden Greer, he's gonna call his own number, and he's in the open space. Ooh, what a pretty play right there. He's gonna be brought down after a little bit. Then Greer, he's gonna find Jaquavius Pace, and they're still driving. Greer this time, he's gonna find number 88. Andrew Mansell in the end zone for a touchdown. It's going to be 10-7 Kosciuszko in the first quarter. This game was a nail-biter, but Amory comes out with a tough win, 24-23. They move on.
And then we've got Tupelo Christian Prep versus Coffeyville. Look at that Eagle strutting his stuff, and so were the Eagles, the players. Stuart Long, he takes the handoff, and look at him go, breaking off a huge run. He's still going, can't be stopped. Gets out of bounds over there in the second quarter. Meanwhile, the Eagles were up 21-6. Here comes Long again. This time, he takes it all the way to the house, making that score 28-6. Eagles up after that extra point. Cheerleaders, of course, excited about the score. Later on, Coffeyville punting from deep in their end zone. Brewer Bailey, the quarterback, will scoop up the ball and run it back
for a
touchdown. What is happening?
I don't know who number 19 is, but great block, young man. That's a great block right there.
35-6 after that touchdown in Coffeyville. It's picked off by the big 250 pounds. It's so many pounds. He's just a big guy. He doesn't skip weight day. That is Russ Blankenship. Got to give him a big intro for that touchdown. Eagles go on to win this game big, 56-6. Wow. Woo.
And out in Vardaman tonight, first-time district champs since 2012. They're up 42-0 by halftime. A trio of Rams are going to be on the tackle right there, and they're going to force the fumble. And they're going to come up with the recovery. Demarion Johnson with the ball. Rams student section loving that. Freshman quarterback Jack Moore going to find Jalen Vance. Spin move, still on his feet. He's still not. Oh, it took him a while to get down to the ground right there. Jack Moore is going to be on the carry this time. He's going to find the edge, and he will find the end zone on his feet. It's 50-0 in the third, and the Rams are going to be moving on next week with a big win over H.W. Byers, 50-12.
And then Boonville Blue Devils 8-2 hosting Amanda Elsie Panthers 5-4 out of Greenwood. Blue Devils, Zion Nunn, he takes the kickoff, and look at him go, missing defender after defender, finds some open space, and he is brought down at the 40-yard line. The crowd loving that one. That sets up a beautiful field position for Noah Gillen, quarterback. He connects with big tight end Idarius Leslie for a touchdown, 20 yards, extra point good. Boonville cheering it up. Next, Amanda Elsie, quarterback Javarian Glover. He hands off to Martin Lawton. That's a touchdown. 2-point conversion good. Panthers, they go on to win this just barely over the Blue Devils, 30-28.
Wow, Boonville, they take a loss at home, 30-28.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's close.
Yeah, it's a tough loss. But what a season for the Blue Devils. Last year, I believe they only had 3 wins. First year, head coach Scott Brown gets them to 8-2.
And playoffs.
And the playoffs.
That's a big feat. That's a big turnaround.
Oh, yeah, what a turnaround. And, you know, we still have one more game to show tonight.
Absolutely.
Garner Montgomery's been hanging out in Calhoun County all night. Here's Garner with the recap of tonight's game.
Yeah, as you know, Calhoun City, they beat down pretty much every single team that they face. And this week, they saw one of their old rival schools in the first round of the playoffs. And you can imagine how this game went for Calhoun City as the Wildcats take on Eupora. And the Eagles could not be stopped. Jamaje Jace. The Eagles could not stop Jamaje Jace tonight. This is his first of many big runs for him tonight. And this drive's going to end with Xavier Pittman pushing forward into the end zone with some great blocking on that play. And it's going to be 8-0. But Eupora has one trick up their sleeve, and that's BJ Cork, who leaps to tip Pittman's pass and gets the pick for Eupora. That was a nice little play for him. The Eagles will turn over on downs. And again, on the next drive, guess who? Jamaje Mays. He's outrunning every single Eupora defender, taking it all the way to the end zone. That's over half the football field, and it's going to be 16-0 Calhoun City. And I'm going to sound like a broken record because, guess who? Jamaje Mays, this time in Wildcat formation, somehow doesn't get touched on his way to the end zone for another Cal City touchdown. The final score, Eupora 6, Calhoun City 58. The Wildcats will host again next week as they face the winner of Northside and Hatley. Whatever that result is, I haven't been able to find that out yet, but that should be soon. And Calhoun City, they're ready to make a deep run in the playoffs because this is one of the most talented teams that this town has ever had. We could call it right now. They might win a state championship. They haven't slowed down yet, so we'll see which team might give them trouble. It's going to be interesting to see because whoever beats Calhoun City, they deserve to win the state championship. Live in Calhoun City, Garner Montgomery, WTVA, Friday Night Fever.
And let's take a look at those full screens. Okolona coming out with the win. Bearcats picking up a shutout. And Sacred Heart picking up the win over Noxapater.
And then we have Starkville Academy 41-31, Kirk Academy taking out 41-7, and Mooreville Troopers 13 to Independence 12.
Wow. A lot of great games right there. We'll be right back after the break. And we had a lot of great games tonight, Sammy, and we're going to have some great action tomorrow.
So much action tomorrow. Some of the best home games, the best last home games that we have.
Oh, yeah, Mississippi State is still fighting for bowl eligibility. There's 2 wins away. They're going to be looking for their first win tomorrow against the Kentucky Wildcats.
Absolutely.
Kickoff's going to be at 6:30 for that. It's going to be another tough outing for Mississippi State. It's been kind of an interesting season for them. So
the Bulldogs, they cut out their own work for them sometimes, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And speaking of cutting out some work for you, Alabama, LSU, essentially your SEC West championship game.
That is a huge matchup. Of course, we will be looking for that as well. Some great highlights, I'm sure, will be out there about that game.
Oh, yeah. And lastly, Ole Miss at home in the morning, early in the morning against the Texas A&M Aggies.
Early in the morning, and it will still be a great game regardless of the time that it happens. And, of course, we always say who we think it's going to go. This game will be a close one.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ole Miss pulls it out, though. I think they've played so much better since that Alabama game. They should be able to take care of business.
They only have one loss for sure, and that was that Alabama game. And they have a large, highly scoring offense, of course, with Jackson Dart and Quinshon Judkins. Now, Laura Rutledge from SEC Nation got to speak with her today. She doesn't always pick the games, pick the winners, but she did share her thoughts on what she thinks the matchup's going to look like.
What I will say is that I do think this will be a very close game. And I think so Vegas has Ole Miss is a 3-point favorite, which basically means it's like even. So I think we're going to be in for a real treat.
And a treat we will. And, of course, I will be there covering the game, covering everything that's going on in Oxford. It is just a madhouse right now, I'm sure, on the Square and the Grove. And I will be up there bright and early, as will the fans and the players.
Oh, yeah. I'm at Starkville for the nightcap tomorrow, though. That's going to be like 5 straight night games for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's okay, because we will still have all the coverage for you regardless of kickoff times. We'll have that for you starting at 10 tomorrow night.
Speaking of night games, last night, Starkville at Tupelo, that was a big one for the district championship. Starts at night. These high school games on Friday night, they're always night games.
Yeah, we are night owls now. We're trained. Sports, they happen at night.
They happen at night. Big wins. We're going to have some more football for you guys next Friday night. It's going to be another edition of Friday Night Fever, round 2 and round 1 for 5A, 7A. We'll hope you all join us next week. We'll see you all then.
Thank you for watching. Love it on Friday Night Fever. Have a good night.